Hello my friends all over the world, wherever you are. William Poloniak here again at Whole Health Foundation. Today I'm going to make some cherry juice. Many people have asked me, can you make cherry juice? Well, this is my first time making it, so we're both going to find out. I suspect that yes, you can. But first, I'm going to pit the cherries with a special tool I have here in my pocket. You can get less expensive tools on the internet, but this one is going to work for me. And I also have a special cloth only for cherries. So the first thing I'm going to do is dump my cherries into a bowl and pit them. So the first thing I'm going to do is dump my cherries into a bowl and pit them. And here I have 4.5 pounds of cherries, and we'll see how much juice we can make with 4.5 pounds. And I'm going to use my cherry pitting tool to get rid of the pits and leave me back only the cherries. I'm going to sit here at my dining room table and pit all these cherries. The first thing you do is take out the stem, place the cherry in the pitting tool, push the pit through, and put the cherry aside. So take out the stem, now you don't need to put the stem side up, but I'm going to show you how I do it. Put the stem side up, push the pit through, and put the cherry aside for juicing later. Sometimes the pit falls right out and sometimes it hangs on like it did there. There we go. Now I've noticed that sometimes if I don't see the cherry pit fly out the bottom, I need to go in there with my thumb and search around for the cherry pit. Another good reason to wear gloves when you're processing your produce. Here's the last of my cherries, and I have 3.5 pounds here. I'm going to separate it into 2 batches. I'm going to press one without shredding it and press the other with shredding it. Now, as you can see, I've pitted the cherries. It took me 45 minutes to pit 3.5 pounds. And by volume, I have 2 containers here. I'm going to press these in a new cloth with a bamboo liner without shredding them. And I'm going to shred these. So first, let's show me shredding these. I'm shredding. I'm going to use the 5-blade cutter that has teeth cut into it, and I'm going to install that. And also notice that I'm using the front-loading feed tube. The advantage to the front-loading feed tube is it eliminates blowback almost 100%. So what I'm going to do here is collect my pulp. Well, let's use a wide mouth ball jar. Now the trick with juice, fruit juice that is to keep this covered. No matter, I mean, I know we have a almost zero blowback feed tube, but still you don't want to have any mishaps. So turn it on while they have this covered. Go down only halfway. You'll notice how it spit out, but it didn't go to the ceiling. It's a good idea to turn the machine off in between. when you have things like cherries and other fruits that are very, very liquid, like cantaloupe, for example. Now I'm going to push that down only a quarter this time because we did get a little bit of blowback in that last bit. Put more cherries in here. Thing I'm going to do is line the juicing cloth with a bamboo liner. We have these bamboo liners custom made. They're 100% organic and they prevent pulp from sticking to the cloth. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the pulp from the cutter, the grid and the grid holder and the feed tube and put it inside this juicing cloth. Now we'll set these aside to clean later. And now, let's see, do we have any pulp stuck to the cutter? Not much, but we'll take everything on the cutter that we have there. Well, that's a very good sign. The cutter's doing its job. Step will be to pour this cherry pulp into the bamboo liner, and we have about 2 claws full of pulp here, and it's very, very liquid, so I'm going to pour it very slowly. And then fold the bamboo liner over the pulp in both directions, and this is going to minimize any fruit pulp sticking to the cloth. Fold it in thirds just like it came in the package. And normally I would press 2 cloths full at once, but in this video we're only going to do 1 cloth right in the center, centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back. I'm going to back it off because fruit is very, very slippery. And I'm going to use a measuring beaker to see how much juice we actually get. So far we've got 6.5, almost 7 ounces. Advance it a little bit more. Well, we have 10 ounces, so I'm going to back that off. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this bamboo liner apart because it's still very, very moist and I suspect a lot of juice left in here. I'm going to set it aside and get a new bamboo liner for the cherries that we're not going to shred. And we're going to press this later to show that we can get 10% or more juice. But first I'm going to clean this cloth. I'm going to start with another bamboo liner. And remember, we have these custom made from pure organic wild bamboo, 100% pure bamboo liners. Now this time I'm going to take the cherries that have not been shred, put about half of them in this bowl, this container, fold the bamboo liners over, and we're going to press these without shredding them and see what kind of difference in yield we get and what kind of difference in performance. So we'll pull these into a nice tight package, fold it in thirds just like it came packaged new. As tight a package as you can make it, the tighter the better. Now this is the first time I've done cherries, so it's all new to me, just as new to you, I think. In the center, centered left to right, centered front to back, all the way back, back it off. There we have 3, maybe 3.5 ounces. Yes, this juice is much more clear than the juice that we had shred. So let's open this up and put the last of the cherries inside the bamboo liner. Now I can tell just by glancing at this that there's a lot of juice and nutrition left in these cherries. So let's fold these up again. Now, the first batch got about 3.5 ounces, and that's a little bit more. All the way. Now we have 8 ounces. Now what I'm going to do next is shred this, see if we get any more juice. Now, I can see that the pressing operation did not press out all of this juice from these unshred cherries. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shred the rest of this cherry pulp and see how much more juice we can get. But first, well, you can see how well the bamboo liner protected this. First I'm going to separate the cherries from the bamboo liner. Get as much of that off as I can. And we'll get a new bamboo liner for the rest of this, but first let's shred this. Remember, we're going to keep this covered no matter what. This time we're only going down about 1/3 of the way because we don't want any blowback like we got last time. Only down about 1/3 of the way. All the way through. And here's the last of the cherry pulp from that second pressing. And again, one of the advantages of this front-loading feed tube is I can see in there that all that cherry pulp is not quite shred. So what I'm going to do is pour some of this in there, and that will enable me to push through the rest of that unshred pulp. We'll put another bamboo liner in here. And the first thing, as before, is to take any pulp off the grid holder and the grid, and then the feed tube and the cutter. Next, I'm going to pour my pulp very carefully. I think I'll pour all of it in here. Now you notice you don't press on the top, you're pushing down. We'll fold the bamboo over the pulp. And let's see how much more juice will we get from this shredded pulp that was already pressed. Now I'm going to fold it under so we don't get slippage like we did before. Now it is a darker juice, definitely. That's a little bit more. Almost like syrup. And a little more. And then all the way. looks like about 10 ounces. Now shredding the cherries definitely gives you an opaque juice. Not shredding the cherries gives you a very clear juice, but you're wasting a lot of nutrient. There we are, just dropped, so we're going to stop there. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to repackage this pulp, press it again to see if we can get more juice using this Whole Health Foundation Premium Model Juicer. So I'll pour this into the bowl over here. What I'm going to do now is form this spent pulp into a tight package. And I'm going to put the pulp from the last cloth full on top. Let's fold it into as tight a package as we can. Folding this under several times, and we'll do that in both directions. A little more. I'm going to center this package a little bit better. Well, so far we got another 2 ounces of juice out of that. We got 30 ounces normally, and so far another 2 ounces. That's a little bit more. But now there's drops. That's usually an indication you've got about as much juice out of there as you can. However, with fruit, it's usually not getting all the juice out, and I'll bet this pulp is still very, very wet. Yep, it looks like jam to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this pulp, put it into a container for a breakfast spread like jam. I don't want to throw this away. It's got a lot of nutrient left in it. So we'll throw this one cloth away, this one bamboo liner. And this other bamboo liner, we're going to scoop this into a container and save this for a breakfast treat. Well, my friends, I got 2 14-ounce bottles, but filled to the top it's 15 ounces, enough for a taste test. And the leftover pulp I'm going to save as a jam, because it was much, much too rich looking to throw away. I suspect there's a lot of nutrition left in this remaining pulp. So what I'm going to do now is taste the original juice. Cherry juice, 100%. Delicious, but much, much too sweet. What I'm going to do now is take one of these bottles, put some into a second bottle, and mix it 50% with water. Let's do that now and do another taste test. Well, my friends, I've mixed the cherry juice that I thought was too rich with 50% water, and now I'm going to taste it diluted. 50% water, 50% cherry juice. Well, for me, this is much more flavorful. So I've got 4 juices out of this batch of juice, 50% with water. It's delicious. And I also got some jam, or you might call it baby food or geriatric food. Well, I hope you like what you've seen. My first experiment with cherry juice. If you'd like to call me, my phone number is 760-753-0321. My email address is developtrust@cox.net, and my webpage is wholehealthfound.com. I'll see you in the next video.